Producer Price Index. That's our topic on today's Backstage Pass. Hey friends, hope you're having a great day so far today. Now yesterday we talked about how this week the news was going to be mostly focused on housing. And we mentioned this little data report that was supposed to come out today, the PPI, the Producer Price Index. Typically not much of a market mover, but today we got a little bit of a shock. And here's what happened. So the PPI, Producer Price Index, is a similar report. It's an inflation report similar to the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, but it's at the wholesale level. So these are prices at the wholesale level. And the reason why it's not that much of a market mover is because typically whenever we see price fluctuations in the PPI, especially on the declining side, they don't always make their way to the consumers. So it's not typically a big market mover, but the beat on the data was so big today that it wound up moving the market. So for the month of October, PPI, the headline data showed that inflation at the producer level increased by 0.2%, but that was half of what was expected. It was expected to increase by 0.4%. As a result, the headline data showed that inflation decreased year over year from 8.4% to 8%. Again, that was another beat. The expectation was it was going to decrease to just 8.3%. So a big beat on the headline. Now, if you look at the core PPI, and this strips out food and energy costs, very similar to the CPI, well, that was flat month over month, and that was much better than what was expected. What was expected was a 0.3% increase. As a result, the year over year data for core PPI, well, that dropped from 7.2% to 6.7%. So across the board, PPI beat expectations pretty big in a big way. And like I said, typically it's not a big market mover, but the beat was so big, and dovetailing off of the CPI data, it did have an impact on the markets today. At midday, stocks are up. Mortgage bonds are also up. Mortgage bonds are up about 20 basis points. The 10-year yield is down about 7 basis points. And look, the national average for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage that came in yesterday, into the day at about 6.65%. Now, this morning, whenever this PPI data came out, mortgage bonds reacted much more sharply. They were actually up about 40 basis points. And that's about the time when lenders released their rate sheets for the day, whenever mortgage bonds were up much higher than they are now. They've since retraced. So we've had some repricing for the worse on today's rate sheet, all right? So mortgage rates opened up lower than where they were yesterday, but they've lifted up. They've come up just a little bit from where they opened today, but they're still lower than where they were yesterday, all right, if that makes any sense. And so that's kind of what we've seen happening in the markets today. We'll see how the markets end today because there definitely is some volatility here at midday on the mortgage bond. So we'll see where things end up. Now that's all the news that we have for today. Again, the rest of this week is going to be very housing focused. So we'll bring you that data as it comes, but that's all that we have for today. Remember, stay positive, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.